Representation fans, I'm Walter Clapp. It is the Representation Station, Monday, August 17th. I'm your resident lawyer, joined by Roger Scott, the resident CPA. This is not legal or financial advice. This is just Roger and I dissecting the news through the lens of representation as a lawyer and a CPA might. I don't know.
And discussing issues of representation writ large that we do know something about.
Yes. I mean, I would say put together, we're at least one half of a working brain.
At least.
At least.
On a good day.
Okay. So, what has been going on since we talked last week?
Oh, bunches and bunches of stuff. I ran across something today that got me thinking. It was basically the idea is that the two parties, have begun to treat these congressional districts, and they have for the past several cycles, kind of like strategic assets, right?
Yeah.
Which districts do we have a shot at winning? Which ones should we fund? Which ones should we pull back from? We recruit people to run in these districts because we need to save this district. It's almost like they treat them like strategic assets, like a business would.
Yeah, I mean, it is extremely sophisticated. There is no doubt about that, right? Like it is.
And the new wrinkle this year, the Democrats in several states out west and Midwest are the candidate is stepping aside. The Democrat nominee is stepping aside because the independent is so much stronger to clear the decks for the independent. That's nothing if not strategic.
Well, and that's new, right? I mean, that has not been happening as much as it is now, right? In my memory.
Right. Well, I mean, the parties have been treating districts more like strategic assets for some time. But yes, a Democrat nominee stepping aside, that's new. Yeah, that's new.
Right, yeah. And so the Democrat is stepping aside to help the independent beat the Republican.
Exactly. The Democrat has decided they have no shot. Right. So rather than drain votes away from the one who can possibly beat the Republican, they're stepping aside so the independent theoretically will draw most of that support.
Interesting. Well, we've also had some weather news, some flooding in Indiana, at least 7 people dead, rest in peace. 11 inches happened in a very quick time period. 4-year-old was among the deaths. We've also got a tropical storm and hurricane in Hawaii. Big Island, Category 1, making landfall. These are always like basically insurance. These are really, really important for the insurance industry.
Yep.
This is why, like the whole climate change debate, I mean, is so silly because the insurance companies clearly have this figured out. Right? Just follow the money. Right.
They have it priced in. I wouldn't say figured out because that carries connotations that are not appropriate, but they've got it priced in for sure.
They've got it priced in, and they also are not willing to insure certain things. That's why the federal government has to step in to offer flood insurance. But I think one of the interesting things is, and I've been watching this more closely because of my initial interest in our nation's electric grid. It's caused me to focus on the sun because the sun is one of the bigger potential negative impacts for our nation's electric grid with these things called coronal mass ejections that can have, do nasty things to our grid if we aren't adequately prepared. This is, just these solar flares also, I think, almost certainly impact terrestrial weather. How could they not? It's a bunch of energy that you're introducing into a system that is, being propelled forward. Life is being propelled forward by the sun in no small way. It's like a simple fact. But for some reason, our weather models, it seems, do not appropriately account for solar weather. There's been this really big debate within the weather community, and a choice some time ago was made to basically exclude solar impacts on terrestrial weather. And anyway, I think it's going to be interesting to see, with kind of AI, continuing to push new topics. If this is one that makes its way to the top, how much impact does the sun have on our terrestrial weather, and is it adequately modeled? This is kind of the question I'm trying to hunt down, because we've also got all these. There's also been a bunch of series of earthquakes, and there's a gentleman who does a lot of kind of space weather predicting, because he thinks that this is 100% certain. I'm less certain. Connects a bunch of these earthquakes to solar weather, and basically the theory is that the solar weather impacts the ionosphere in such a way that it is reflected in our Earth's core. I guess the spinning ball of magma that is our Earth's core, that creates our magnetic field, can be impacted in that way. And one of the reasons I bring this up is because I think uncapping the house is basically the best national security hack for America in 2026. And I'm somewhat reticent to say the word hack, except that it does involve computers and computation in a big way. And so I think it's appropriate. Uncapping the house provides the opportunity to have a 21st century, true infrastructure project. And this is what Democrats should be thinking about in the uncapped house, and Republicans, right? Everyone likes a good infrastructure bill, and we're talking about building tunnels, housing AI data, creating a second layer of internet, hardening America, but most importantly, hardening our legislative branch. Because frankly, right now, our legislative branch depends on the executive branch and the executive branch systems in large part, the infrastructure. So there's a deep connection, right? I think in these opportunities. And so that is me connecting news to uncapping the house, and an incredible opportunity for an infrastructure bill. Roger, what do you think about the infrastructure bill?
I think we just had a big infrastructure bill. It took 50 years to get the infrastructure bill. I don't think people in Washington have an appetite for any more infrastructure for the foreseeable future. They should.
We need to ask our new
but
board
I do
member.
not think they do.
Well, and so another announcement: we have added a board member, John Hess, and he is a registered lobbyist. And this is a board member for the No Cap Fund, Project No Cap. We need to ask him. So, John, if you're listening, we need to get you on the show and need you to give us your thoughts on adding a spending bill. Okay. What else do you think, other than a lack of appetite from DC insiders, which I'm not sure you represent?
No.
Oh, you see what I did there?
No, I don't see what you did. I missed it somehow.
Okay. Well, because you're a CPA, you're not a lobbyist. A lobbyist represents DC inside opinion. You represent the financial opinion. So you should say, no, Walter, we shouldn't spend money. We should reduce spending, and then we can reduce our taxes.
No, I would say we should do return on investment analysis and rank projects in a portfolio theory ranking, so that we find those projects that have the highest risk-weighted return for the money invested.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
I mean, but hey, you see the news, you read the stories. People all around the world, they talk about the new airports in China, the new airports in some of the Middle Eastern big deal cities, and all the shiny new infrastructure, the super fast trains they have around. We don't have any of that shit here, right? There's a reason for that. There are plenty of people who don't want it here.
It's also, I mean, there are a lot of reasons. I think the capped house is one of them.
Absolutely, no doubt. What I always say, you've heard me say it a million times, probably anybody who's listening to this has probably heard me say it too, but whatever particular governmental reform you support, you personally, your odds of success increase when we uncap the house. That is the most basic thing we have to do.
My number one passion project, pet bill, if we uncap the house, is an infrastructure bill for our nation's electric grid, because it's in dire need of some assistance.
Okay. Yes, the grid is in bad shape. All our airports are in bad shape. Our subway tunnels and systems are in bad shape. I mean, you
The
name
Postal
it.
Service.
The Postal Service. I mean, geez, how many times in the past year have we even seen a construction crane in New York or Miami or someplace just collapsing and falling off the side of the building to the ground below? That's not even really infrastructure, but it kind of is, and we can't even do it on the commercial side. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, bridges failing, people running into bridges. I mean, this is the lack of professionalism, right? I mean, if you had professionals, these things would be addressed. Budgets would be fixed.
But wait, no, I disagree. Every year, the National Society of Civil Engineers, or whatever the correct title for that, they give us an infrastructure report card every year, and it's been D's and D minuses and F's forever.
Right, because it's not like because those professionals they're not in Congress, they're outside of Congress. We need the professionals inside Congress. This is my whole argument for the foundation, right?
Which we would get more of if we had more seats. I agree, absolutely. We need fewer lawyers.
Well, no, we need fewer reality TV stars. Actually, I'm okay with some lawyers, but we certainly need fewer lawyers, and most of all, fewer reality TV stars. It just so happens
I literally said the word fewer lawyers. I literally said the word fewer lawyers.
Reality TV stars and lawyers just happen to overlap, because when you're a litigator, you basically are a performer. You're an actor. If you spend time in the courtroom, you even put on a costume. It's called a suit.
At some level, we're all acting when we're out in public, right?
That is correct. Yes. Well, I don't know. I don't know, Roger. I'm just my authentic self all the time.
That's what even when you're in court?
As much as possible. As much as possible.
Oh, come on.
I mean, I generally would not. The only time I will wear a tie is at a wedding, a funeral, and before a judge. And
sounds right.
So that, and because I've seen lawyers get thrown out of a courtroom for failing to wear the tie.
Right. I wouldn't wear a tie. I wouldn't wear a tie to court, but if I were an attorney, I definitely would.
You have to. I mean,
it's part of the deal.
Yeah. Which is just fascinating, because they're like, what's the purpose of a tie? I mean, it's so the judge can lean over and strangle you easily.
It's a replacement for the cravat.
To hold up my shirt.
I guess. Okay.
How many people do you think Donald Trump has grabbed by the tie? Anyone? Surely.
That's a good question. I don't know.
It's an appropriate answer. Okay.
I mean, I guess he could probably get away with it with with a bunch of the toadies he has around him. If he tried to grab the tie of somebody like what was his name? The former chief of staff, General
Zelensky?
No, not Zelensky. No. In his first term, he had a succession of generals through there at Mad Dog Mattis.
Oh yeah.
The other guy, there was another was chief of staff. He tried to grab those guys' ties. I don't think that would go too well.
Well, I bet he didn't grab the tie of Kim Jong-un, and
he doesn't wear a tie. He wears the proletariat costume or whatever.
Another costume.
Exactly. Oh God, autocrats are the biggest diva performers ever.
Yeah, totally.
Always have been.
Well, I don't know. I don't like it when I don't like Trump and nuclear things. This is like what broke my brain. I think back in 2016, it was just like nuclear logic and game theory. Donald Trump. It was difficult then. It's difficult now. And so when I see those things on the news, I'm like,
Well, and then it should make you even more comfortable to hear that Trump is now demanding that these new aircraft carriers revert from electromagnetic catapults and go back to steam catapults. And against the advice of the people. Yes, this came out yesterday. We have 4 aircraft carriers apparently in some stage of construction, and he wants them to have. He wants them to look more like they did the ones we did in World War II, like we have in the movies, right? He wants that look. So he's saying that they have to go with, and this has been on the national news, man. They've talked about it's going to cost billions of dollars to do this, to go back to steam catapults instead of electromagnetic, and to move the multi-tower, the control tower that they have on the ships used to be amidships. Now they have it more astern. He wants them amidships because that's how they looked in World War II.
The electromagnetic piece, there could be another explanation. There's a lot of electromagnetic warfare going on, and so maybe the steam is going to be like a redundancy, not a full replacement. But I haven't read anything about this.
Yeah, it seems like that would have come out in the news story if that were the case. So I haven't heard that. What I heard was that he wants it to look more like when America was great. He wants to make America great again by going to steam whatever. Oh my God.
Well,
it's embarrassing.
I know. Well, Iran. It's so funny. Every time I ask Grok about the news for the week, it talks about Iran, and a deadline is always mentioned, right? Like there's always this deadline, which I think is like dark comedy, funny, because one, it's not actually a deadline, but on the other hand,
2 weeks. It's always 2 weeks.
Well, on the other hand, it kind of is, because every time they blow past that deadline, usually more people die. So it's kind of sad.
Everything he fails to deliver, he says, is going to be ready in 2 weeks. He said it with the healthcare plan. He said it with infrastructure plan. He said it with the some plan to address inflation. It's always 2 weeks. Again and again and again. It's his con man trick. Anyways, more representation news. So I read a piece either today or yesterday about the campaign in Florida for a House district. And by the way, last night, Matt Beat had his event with, there was, I think, 7 different Dem nominees for House, for congressional districts in Florida. And all of them have agreed to add Uncap the House to their platforms. So they've been endorsed. So we had an hour-long session last night where they were all on screen and they were giving their spiel and talking a little bit about their areas and the vibes, and they had some feedback for each other because they're so close. So that was a really good session, by the way. But one of the things I was reading had nothing to do with this district. It's this person in Congress, Debbie Wasserman Schultz. You familiar with her? She used to be the chair of the DCCC or something like that. She the mid-decade redistricting that took place across the nation and also happened in Florida affected her district. So now she either has to face a much more difficult challenge to get elected in the same district, or she runs in a neighboring district, which is apparently what she's chosen to do. And the neighboring district is like 40% African American, right? The black vote is 40% in that district, and she is very much not African American, right? She's a white Jewish woman. So there's this idea that this is a natural experiment for the idea of descriptive representation as opposed to substantive representation, right? The candidate fits the district versus the candidate can get shit done. Now, Debbie Wasserman Schultz has been in Congress a long time. She can get shit done, even if she doesn't look like the district. Will she get elected in that district? It'll be an interesting thing to watch. If it's not an actual experiment, it'll still be interesting to watch.
I actually don't think any current congresswoman or man can get anything done that is worthwhile in this country. I think essentially everything that is happening or could happen in Congress until we uncap the House is probably going to be a net waste of time and money.
I agree, but your average voter doesn't necessarily understand that. Your average voter thinks, hey, what you and I have discussed this and cried over it many times, that we reelect members of Congress at 95%, 96%, something ridiculous, and they can't get anything done. We keep sending them back because so many of us believe that that person's fighting for me. They stood on stage and said they're going to fight for me, man.
Well, it's also everyone that runs are, people don't run for the job because the job sucks.
Yeah. They run for an opportunity to leverage that position for something more lucrative down the road.
Right. Exactly. Which is just, that's BS, right?
Well, and that's one of the reasons that we have this crisis, this drought of representation in this country and in this society. The people, it's a performative role instead of a public service role now.
Oh, yes, indeed.
All right, you want to descend into some academic stuff?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
I haven't read the full thing myself. There's a study that I got, I caught the scent of earlier, went looking around. I'll read the abstract. There's just a few sentences. Social choice theory research demonstrates that single transferable voting, right, ranked choice, star, those kind of things, right, results in more proportionally representative legislative bodies. We aim to understand how using multi-member district and ranked ballots with STV would affect the representation of political parties in the Colorado House of Representatives. We investigated this objective by producing 10,000 multi-member districting plans of Colorado, probably using like Monte Carlo simulation or something, continuing their actual language, generating ranked ballots for each of these plans using returns from the 2022 Colorado Attorney General race and simulating STV using these ballots. A few more sentences. Our simulated STV elections for the Colorado House of Representatives gave more proportional representation for Democrats and Republicans than the current first past the post system. Future research should explore how the implementation of STV would influence the representation of racial and language minority groups in the Colorado General Assembly to provide guidance on electoral reform in the state. I'll post a link to it.
Nice. Yeah, I think the problem with RCV, ranked choice voting, was it can be implementation. I know in Alaska it went wonky and people were pissed, and the Republican Party innards regurgitated distaste for it ad nauseum. So there's a hurdle there. I think like a branding problem for ranked choice voting, and it's one of the reasons I like Five Star.
I'm sorry. It's called single transferable vote. Thank you very much. That's how you get away from the brand of ranked choice voting. You call it single transferable vote.
Well, or 5 Star. And because 5 Star has some different elements that I think make it better and eliminate some of the possibilities, some of those problem scenarios in ranked choice voting. The people at 5 Star talk about that. And so, and I think it's this is one of those areas where I think the mathematicians really should nerd out and figure this out. And they really need to be using these methods in large companies, I think, or other testing areas. I know that, municipal elections, they happen, city, state elections, that's kind of the goal. And I wish them success, but I think what would be more compelling to me is if you actually made, it's like, say, for instance, take one of the co-ops, right? One of these big co-ops like REI. REI is theoretically a democratic institution, but it's not really, right? It's actually just controlled by the board in this like managerial class, and everyone else who's a member is kind of a member in name only. The motions and everything else that comes by, like, they just don't really matter.
Right.
And if they were to implement something like ranked choice voting or 5 Star voting, and like actually try to have customer engagement and people engage in a way that where they're rewarded, right? Like if you actually engage with the co-op, you are rewarded with say more discounts at on whatever sneakers. I think you could really see some breakthrough ideas and testing, and like, because at the end of the day, I think the American people would say, REI, like if REI were to do something like that and become much more profitable over the next, couple of years, like that would be very compelling evidence, right? That it's like very crystal clear that there is something to, having the opinions of your customers kind of in a actually surfacing in a way that is representative. I don't know. Maybe people won't care about that until we uncap the house. We have that conversation a lot, right? Like nobody's going to do any of this crap until we have a reinvigoration of the American spirit, which I can't imagine a way that we reinvigorate the American spirit without uncapping the house. And that's why I'm so dedicated to this, right? I think ultimately that is what it is. Like I see people who used to have American spirit losing it. And if that happens, like the American dream dies, right? Like the entrepreneurial engine of our country dies. And, it's got to happen. And I've been rambling now. So Roger, save me.
Oh no, you were rambling beautifully. You don't need saving. Attorneys usually are able to ramble pretty well. All right, so you talked about the study.
Oh, when are you playing us a song, Roger?
Playing what? What are you talking about?
You're supposed to play us a guitar song.
Guitar? Do I play guitar? I forgot about that.
I'm pretty sure.
All right. Well,
you might be looking at a guitar right now.
No, they're all behind me. There's two of them. Shit! There's two of them standing up. The other one won't stand up. It's a travel guitar. I may have showed you this once before.
No, wow, that's cool. Do the pieces come out of it, out of the side?
Yeah, that's why it's a travel guitar, because take the bottom and top off, and it has no headstock.
Yeah.
The tuning machines are down at this end, so it saves you that space as well. I was impressed. I bought it just because I needed a guitar to take to Portugal. Yeah. But I'm impressed with the quality of it. I play it quite a lot, actually.
And it's a 6-string?
Yeah, it's a 6-string. And while I was in Portugal, I was able to change the action, which is the distance between the bottom of the strings and the top of the frets. To change that with this guitar is a hassle, because you got to change. You have to use the tiniest Allen wrench I've ever seen to do 2 screws per string. So there's 12 of them, and you have to adjust it individually. Yeah. But I spent the time while I was in Portugal, and I got that one set where I can play fretted guitar easily and slide without fretting out, right? Mm-hmm. And I play the lightest strings I play on that one, 10-gauge strings. All my other guitars are heavier strings. So
nice.
That's one of the reasons I like that so much, is because it's easier on the fingers. But it doesn't sound as good with surf as the fatter strings does. It doesn't sound as good with slide as the fatter strings. So
yeah.
All right. Yes, I do. I have to record something and bring it to the show.
You should do that for the annual meeting. You should record a song for us.
Okay. We'll see if I can figure out Layla between now and then.
All right.
I'm just getting started.
You have less than a week.
Yeah. No, I'll stick with Son of a Sailor. That one I can play well. That one's easy. Okay, one more.
Just everyone, August 22nd, annual meeting. There's going to be a great virtual option. And if you can make it in person in Manassas, Virginia, we would love to have you. There will be a morning walk amongst the Manassas battlefield. And in the evening, there will be drinks and food.
In the company of a knowledgeable historian in the morning to explain everything about it.
Yes. And then in the evening, drinks and food and conversation, and maybe some learning, maybe some connecting. I think 5 until 8.
8:30?
At 8:30. And the name of the winery? Roger, 2 weeks in a row.
I didn't know I was supposed to.
Roger is fighting that.
I saw them. I paid the damn bill and then moved on, man. I don't have to remember all this stuff.
It's fair.
Well, who I paid is Pampas Fox LLC.
No, don't make that live. I don't think that's the name of it.
Sorry, that's the name of the. It may not be the name of the venue.
Okay.
But that is the name of the vendor.
If Jeff is listening, he's screaming right now.
Why?
Because we got to tell the listeners the name of the venue where they can
Okay.
find this. Well, go to the website and sign up, but also we should tell them the name of the venue. Let's see. Sunshine Winery is the name of it, just outside of Manassas, Virginia. Which is
that's a DBA name. Doesn't really count for CPAs, man. I only want to know who owns the bank account.
Well, they represent themselves as being Sunshine Winery. So everyone, when you plug that into your GPS, you're deciding whether or not you want to make the drive. Sunshine Winery, and let's see. I'm going to pull something up about them. Show some pictures to make up for our incompetence.
She shows some pictures down by the seashell side.
Yeah, thank you. Let's see. Here it is. Website. Bingo. Gosh, this is tough. Sunshine Ridge Farms. The winery at Sunshine Ridge Farms. I'm going to share my screen here. Let's see. Oh. Where is it?
I might actually be able to remember that because Sunshine was the brand of my first surfboard. Okay, I might remember that.
Okay. All right, there you go. So here it is. This looks gorgeous. This looks amazing. Look at this lake. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's going to be a blast. Everybody should sign up and come join us.
This just looks amazing. If you don't want to be here, I don't know what's wrong with you.
Should we bring our swimsuits? Looks like I have a little beach.
Yes, I would bring your swimsuit because you never know. I would bring a towel too, though. They may not provide towels.
Yeah.
Let's see. Upcoming events. Plan your visit. We're planning Sunshine Ridge Farm. Oh, it's technically in Gainesville, but join us lakeside. Okay. Yeah, we have an event. Let's see. View upcoming events. Let's see if we're on there. No. Is this the right place? Oh my goodness. Now I've like totally misdirected people. Oh my gosh.
Better you than me.
I think that's got to be it. So there must just be a private event. This has got to be it. Host your event. So it looks like there's going to be live music there after our event. So if you didn't have a reason to go, maybe it's because you like live music. And that sounds amazing. Oh my goodness. I can't talk. Sunshine Ridge. Let's see. Yeah, the winery, Sunshine Ridge Farm. That's what my Evite says. 5 to 8 p.m. Gainesville. It's this coming Saturday, folks.
It doesn't say 8:30?
No, it says 8 o'clock.
Really?
That's what my Evite says. We'll check with Jeff. But going back, this is the place.
I looked at the agenda earlier.
Oh my gosh, there's even a vineyard, a little vineyard. Look at that. Goodness. There's an art gallery, a brewery. There's a side porch, the point, the pavilion. I'm guessing we're going to be one of those. Group size.
My God, they have everything there. Do they have a Circle K too? Or
Let's see. Oh, I want to see. So the upcoming events. I wonder when this live music starts. It starts 5 to 8. Okay, so there's gonna be live music going on during our meeting. You should be there.
It's gonna be awesome.
On tap band. Let's see if we can play some of their music. What do you think about that, Roger? The On Tap band is on tap. Let's see, On Tap band. Apparently, that's a very common name for band. For a band.
Well, yeah, for the house
West
band
Virginia
and a bar,
country
yeah,
and rock cover.
I would think so.
Okay, here we go. So On Tap is a popular North Virginia country and rock cover band known for vocal harmonies and energetic live shows. Let's see. We can watch a reel of them, I think.
All right, let's do it.
All right. Let's go. I gotta share probably that screen. You'll have to tell me if you can hear it.
And I said, hey, yeah,
yeah. Can you hear that?
Oh, yeah.
And I said, hey,
Trying to remember who did that 4 Non-Blondes?
What's going on? And I said, hey.
Okay.
Love that song.
Rock and country. There you have it.
Yeah, I'm guessing they won't be playing Pipeline.
Oh, look,
bummer.
That looks like them. There it is, the winery at Sunshine Ridge. So they played there on June 8th. They'll be back soon. Wow. Oh my gosh, guys.
And that's holy cow, I didn't realize there were 6 of them. That's a substantial band.
It is. Yeah, that is a band. That is a full band.
Yeah, I didn't notice in a horn section or anything when they were playing, so interesting.
Okay, not a full band. Sorry, Roger.
No, they're a full band. Not every band has a horn section, but when you have a horn section, it absolutely makes your band a larger, number of people. So, got to have at least 3 for a horn section.
While you're there, you can become a member. 20% off rental of the private event spaces. Oh, Roger, maybe we need to talk to Roger. Make sure he became a member before he rented this place.
Roger, I didn't rent the place.
I mean, Jeff. We need to talk to Jeff. Jeff.
What's the old line? I would never be a member of any place that would have me as a member. I think that was Groucho Marx. I don't want to join any club that would have me as a member.
That's right. Here's some of the food. Here's their wines, beer, cider, non-alcoholic, and food. Hot pretzel and cheese with cheese and mustard. Popcorn chips, charcuterie board for 4, beer board, cheese board, pizza, margarita, pepperoni, Italian supreme.
There you go.
All right. Food trucks available most weekends. Okay, so they might also have a food truck there. Wow. Man, I am hungry now.
Well, I hope it's not the Cousin's Maine lobster food truck. It's my wife's favorite. Are you familiar with lobster rolls? You familiar with lobster rolls? The sandwich? Well, they sell the Connecticut style and the Maine style, right? There's one warm with butter, one's cold with mayonnaise. And all of it is lobster on a piece of bread, which I don't understand at a conceptual level. But my wife loves
lobster. It's just it's lobster.
I mean, I like lobster.
Do you understand lobster or crawfish?
No, I understand lobster. Okay. And having it on a plate with drawn butter and some other things is fine, but putting it on a sandwich just seems wrong to me. Whatever.
I've had some good lobster rolls, so I'm gonna have to disagree with you.
Okay. The point is those sandwiches have gone. They're like doubled in price over the past 5 years. So I pray we don't encounter that damn food truck when we're out riding around.
Okay. So your wife's coming.
And I don't pray.
Is your wife coming?
She will be with me that week, and she's not coming to the meeting.
Oh, she should come. You should show her this website. My goodness.
My daughter and her husband are now back in the States after the time in Portugal. They're living in DC. She has no interest in anything else going on that weekend. She's going to spend her time with Madison and only with Madison.
Okay. Well,
she may come back to the hotel
Madison,
Saturday night.
You should invite Madison and her husband to the annual meeting.
I will do that. I'll invite them.
There you go. All right. Very good. Invite your friends, your family, your loved ones. Oh my goodness. I am excited, Roger. It is are we halfway through the year? Yeah, we're halfway through. We're more than halfway. We're 2 months past the halfway mark. It's going to be 2026 before you know it. It's going to be November before you know it. We're going to be talking about the presidential election. We're going to be uncapping the House. Oh my goodness.
We're more than halfway through summer.
I can't wait for our annual meeting next year.
Yeah? Why is that?
Yeah. Well,
because
it's
going to be bigger and better?
I want to be. I'm always thinking at least a year in advance, right? Ideally 3 years.
All right. So before we go any further, there's one more thing I had jotted down as something to discuss this evening.
Oh, what do you got?
It's not specifically representation, but it is something that will cause people to think and have a lot of opinions, I'm sure. So I heard Bernie Sanders talking. It was on the radio. I was riding around the car. I don't know what show it was on or who he was talking to, but he was describing the idea of a sovereign wealth fund for the U.S. Right. So we're all familiar with sovereign wealth funds. Norway's done a particularly outstanding job with theirs, but Iceland has one. Saudi Arabia has one. Some of the others. Sanders' idea is that the sovereign wealth fund for U.S. citizens would be funded with a portion of the profits from the AI companies. And his economic logic underpinning it is that the raw material the AI companies are using to earn their profits is the output of the collectively of all of mankind. So essentially their raw material has no cost, right? And you've heard that argument before, I'm sure. But essentially the AI companies want to make profit off raw material that they did not have to compensate anyone for. And Bernie's idea is that's the reason to take a portion of their profits and make a sovereign wealth fund. It's food for thought, I would say.
Well, I'm constitutionally opposed to the idea, but I also am constitutionally opposed to 4 tech oligarchy AI overlords running my life.
Yep.
And I believe the best solution is to uncap the House, Bernie. And then let the uncapped House build a sovereign wealth fund based on, Ron Paul's penny tax or whatever. There are lots of good ideas, and I think that going after the AI companies is, it's sexy right now because they obviously have a lot of power and people hate the data centers, including here in Wyoming. But it's a very slippery slope, and fundamentally, I want a House of Representatives that I trust to pass the tax bill, right? That's their fundamental authority, and so anytime you want to talk about taxes, it's just like, that's something we should debate in the uncapped House.
Right. So, and I was about to say, don't even think of it as going after the AI companies for AI profits. Think of it as reverting to substantially higher tax rates that we had in the past when our economy worked well in the 30s, 40s, 50s, before Reagan, essentially.
No, I basically think that FDR
Walter, will you let me finish what I'm saying before you step on me, please?
Well, sometimes we talk over each other.
I try very hard not to. I wait a lot. Go on with what you're saying. The flow's interrupted. The moment's gone.
I think FDR is the worst president this country has had.
I'm not suggesting we go back to the same tax rates that we had prior to Reagan. I'm saying that we go higher than where we are now because the economy is not doing well. And we've had this experiment going on for 50 years now, and it's only getting worse.
I certainly would agree to taxing the AI companies before I would agree to taxing Americans more.
Okay. Well, and that's not unexpected. That's a Republican position. That's a conservative position. It's, cut tax. You got to keep cutting it and keep cutting it until you find the bottom. And the only way to find the bottom is to cut it until something breaks, and then oh shit, we got to go back up a little bit. And I understand that's the perspective that conservatives come from. I'm saying that we had an economy that was the envy of the world in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, and since then, it's not the envy of the world constantly. It rises and falls, it seems like. We are not the shining example of economic success that we were in the past. And one element of that, I believe, talking earlier, we were talking about the infrastructure. One element of that was we had more dollars available for public spending, and we did a good job of spending those on education, on infrastructure, on all the things that are now falling apart because we have no money to spend on them, because we've cut. Maybe we have found the bottom of how far we can cut taxes before the whole dang opera falls apart.
Maybe. I think there's a tremendous amount of waste of our current tax dollars by both parties, by both sides. And I think that fact is made clear when Elon went to go to try to cut it and was stopped by both sides. The Republican, quote unquote, Republicans as well. Nobody actually wants to cut spending. And I think there are serious bloat problems because the legislature has been capped for so long. The executive branch is this almighty monolith that does everything. And yeah, it's crumbling, but it's crumbling in part because people are losing faith in it. They've lost trust in it. And so my view is, first, step one is uncap the House, and two, spend money on building capability and function and capacity in the House to oversee what the executive branch is doing vis-a-vis building bridges or whatever other government functions they're operating. And until you do so, you are just going to be throwing more money at a very, very big problem. And in a lot of ways, it's just going to be kind of like putting Band-Aids on an aortic cut, right? Where you just we're gushing just astronomical amounts of money. And I think it comes back down to its competence and oversight, right? Which is kind of boring, but without competence and oversight, why would you ever expect the executive branch to be efficient at spending the money they currently do have? And so before I were to raise a bunch of taxes, at least at the federal level, especially at the federal level, I would want to ensure that, we've got we've tried the other things first. And fundamental of those is just uncapping the House.
I agree with that. And, this idea that there's a tremendous amount of waste and fraud, and I don't disagree. There's always going to be waste. There's always going to be fraud. So my question is, why the hell don't we invest in the systems and the technologies to squeeze that stuff out? And the answer is because there's a substantial portion of people in our society, and there's certainly the people who are in charge of government now who do not want oversight. They've fired the inspectors general. The example I come back to again and again is the idea of the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms did not have a confirmed director, a Senate confirmed director for years and years and years. And on top of that, there was an occasion where, because Congress, specifically GOP members of Congress, don't want the ATF to be really efficient because that messes with gun owners, gun rights. They have not been able to digitize their records, or at least they had not at that point. And they had records on the second floor of a building that got so heavy the damn floor collapsed. All the records came crashing down onto the floor below. Wow. Because we can't digitize the records because that would make it easy to track people with their gun ownership. So examples like that. We talk about waste and fraud. Yeah, there's waste and fraud. And as far as I can tell, at least some portion of that is by design.
Yeah. No, I think that's absolutely right. And I guess my observation is that, essentially since J. Edgar Hoover, like the federal executive bureaucracy has by design wanted to create as much distance between it and oversight by Congress. And that's why we have this, monolith that is run amok. It's capable of running amok, right? The founders designed a system where Trump really couldn't have done as much as he's done. And so, yeah.
Well, one of the ways that we stop people from running amok is to ensure that they're held accountable. I come back to this idea of inherent contempt. This is a power Congress has. It has not used it in decades. It did not use it that much before. I think it's high time. You've got people in the executive branch who flatly refuse to come to Congress when they're asked to do so. Sitting members of Congress. Who was the guy, the former Secretary of the Treasury? Mnuchin, right? Mm-hmm. He refused to come. They just ignore congressional subpoenas. I say send the sergeant at arms, drag them to the cells below the House, and let them cool their jets for a couple of days. And do it more than once. The message will get through. Congress is the big dog here. You do not get to say no to the big dog.
Amen. I totally agree. I think we should, Congress should be arresting and holding people who are in contempt of Congress. It is something that they must do. They must reclaim that authority.
Yeah.
But I really only want the uncapped House to do that. I mean, it should have never left, but it's, like all the things. I think it would be abused if brought back today in a bad way.
It would be better with an uncapped House. But if we don't start holding people accountable now, we may never get around to the time frame where we can uncap the House. We got to hold some people accountable today.
Yeah.
And I mean, is it going to be abused? Probably. And I feel bad about that. But what's the alternative? Just let it keep getting worse? Let our society keep degrading? You tell me, man. I'm going to move to Norway anyway. Get a little hovel on a fjord somewhere and play guitar, man. It's
Oh, very good. Well, we are upon the hour.
Yes, we are.
Talking to you, Roger. And I believe next week we are going to have a guest on the show. He is a candidate for Congress that has made it past his first round of jousting, and we'll be talking to him and get you more details as that gets a little bit closer.
Has Mr. Bede endorsed him?
That's a good question.
If he hasn't, we make a special effort to get Matt to join the show, because this could be an opportunity for him to chat with the guy and learn about him.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, as I'm ending the show here, my mouse has decided to quit. It's the second time that's happened. I think it's time for a new mouse. Let's see. Just gonna grab his name. Okay. Mike Crowley.
State? Do you know?
Let's see. Crowley for Congress. Meet Mike for Congress. It's got a great website. It's reactive. There he is. Let's see. Meet Mike. Let's see. It doesn't say what district. Let's see. Calendar
Wisconsin? Yeah, it's Wisconsin.
Okay, there you go. No,
wait a no. That's Crowley. That Crowley's the guy in Wisconsin who won the Dem primary. Okay, Crowley. How do you spell it? Just no W?
Croley.
Yeah, just no W. It's not Crowley. Yeah. All right, I'll read up on him a little bit.
Yeah, Mr. Crowley. He was in the Navy. It's like he was a Tennessee State Park Ranger, Presidential Management Fellow There you go. All right.
Oh,
Tennessee Tech graduate. I
excellent.
went to undergrad in Tennessee, so we will. I'm excited to chat with him about Memphis.
So is that a 4-year tech school, or is that like a community college tech school? It doesn't matter. Don't spend the time to look it up. I personally went to a
he
community
got a
college.
master's degree. He got a master's degree in public safety from Tennessee Tech.
All right, so that's a straight up university. I love community colleges. I went to community college my first 2 years. I think it's the best bargain in America. It was then, and it still is today.
Very good. All right.
All right. Well, I'll look forward to that as well.
All right.
Assuming I make it back in one piece from Virginia.
Sounds good. See you in Virginia.